The standard definition of Sonic Unleashed is a game that I feel isn't appreciated enough. Yes, the game doesn't look nearly as good as the HD version. The controls can be a bit messy here and there, and there's a lot of stuff cut in this game that doesn't give you the full Sonic Unleashed experience. But that's okay. Even though these criticisms are valid, I feel like with a few pointers and adjustments, you might be able to have a better experience with this version. If you're playing this version on Dolphin, you can actually add texture packs that make the game look more tolerable compared to its original condition. The controls are weird, yes, but if you give this game a chance and learn to master it, it doesn't seem to be as bad as you go along. And lastly, the cut content. Looking back, it isn't as bad either. Empire City and Savannah got cut, but to be fair on Empire City, that level wasn't tied to the story at all. It was just kinda there. And Savannah at least got the boss fight, so there's that I guess. Although I would have preferred a full stage. Hub Wars got cut too, and became this click and go kind of thing. However, I would say that the Gaia Gates kinda make up for it. Collecting medals to progress in the game is gone too, and instead are given to you depending how well you did in a specific stage, giving you access to bonus levels, lives, and secret items. These things are subjective to be a good or a bad thing, but for me, I found it to be rather interesting. Even though the game is inferior in many ways, it still makes up for the lost content to make it unique and enjoyable as its own game. But I'm kinda getting ahead of myself on the small aspect of things. Let's dive a bit deeper and focus on the main reason that makes this game great. Let's start with the boost stages. Right away, you would notice that it's a lot different compared to the HD version. Not only in level design, but in gameplay as well. In many boost stages, you would usually boost to the stage and react accordingly to oncoming hazards in front of you, while at the same time doing a little bit of platforming here and there. Pretty much the same thing applies in the SD version to some extent, but instead of boosting the entire time, you have to use it wisely. Because in this version, Sonic becomes extremely uncontrollable once he's boosted, which means if you are not careful, you can either run into a wall or fall to your death, leaving you to most likely not be able to get to your S rank. This creates a unique and fun challenge for you to master this boost out of gameplay, with its different mechanics and whatnot. It's different, but if you give it a chance, I think you will have a pretty interesting time with these stages. Obviously this boost out of gameplay doesn't come close to the HD version, but as its own thing, I think it's still pretty fun. But what about the infamous Warhawk stages? Are they just as fun? Well, hear me out because what I'm about to say might be a bit controversial. Say what you want about them, but it's not as bad as you think, especially within this version. The combos aren't as flashy, but since the enemies here don't take that long to kill, it's not really that big of a deal, but that's just me anyway. Aside from that, I think in some aspects this version of the Warhawk is a lot better than the HD version, because a common criticism for these levels is that they would take way too long to complete, whereas in this version, it's a lot more tolerable. This allows you to take breaks in between the acts, instead of taking one 10 to 20 minute stage head on. Another positive about the SD version is that the Warhawk doesn't overdo it on the combat side of things. It's there for sure, but you won't be as annoyed compared to the HD version. Here, the game focuses more on platforming, puzzles, and exploration, making them a lot more replayable and enjoyable. Hell, I even found myself wanting to go back and replay the Warhawk stages, as I want to improve and master the Warhawk gameplay, just so that I can get a better ranking. The controls are a little different from its HD counterpart, but trust me, it's not that hard to master. Even though the SD version is inferior to this HD version, like I said before, it still stands out as its own game to me. Its different and unique approach brought out its charm of being replayable from start to finish, much like its HD counterpart. But because of its low quality standards, not many people bat an eye on this version, which is pretty unfortunate. If you have this game around or have a way to get this game, go on and give it a second chance and tell me what you think about it. Because for me, not only did I grow an appreciation for this game, but it helped me to love Sonic Unleashed even more.